Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Sunday sharp doo 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 doo. Sunday sharp doo 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 doo. Sunday sharp doo 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 doo. Ah. Hello, hello, hello. Greetings. Welcome. Hello. How are you all? Hope all are well. Both are well. Howdy's Scotty and Yella? Babe. Scotty too hotty. Hope uses both well and dandy. I are mostly good. Bit worn out after a long week of work, but you know. What is a long week at work for me is a short week at work for most people, so I'm not going to complain. Oh dear. I did remember to shut the back curtains, didn't I, Yella, this afternoon? You didn't see me and Mary. Oh, that would have scared you. No, I don't mean Mary. I would have scared you. Yeah, exactly. There are some faces you don't want to see, and that's one of them. Trust me. Anyway, so as people start making their way in, trundling in, like, yeah, I can't say anything. I got my shift times slightly wrong. Hey yo, hey Mikey, how you doing? For some reason, I thought I was starting at 1:15, and I was starting at 1, so I left myself 10 minutes to get to work. Yeah, I clocked in at exactly 1 o'clock, so we were okay. We weren't late, but turning up to work out of breath and red faced and sweaty is not a good start. Plus, I didn't get to have a ciggy before I started my shift, which is always a nightmare. But at least we now have phone lines and internety stuff back at work. Yay! So most of this week was spent catching up on last week when we didn't. We got there in the end, all back to normal now. Fishies wise, what's been going on? Well, Missy Crib ate the criblets again, or the wrigglers, so they go bye bye. Yeah, there we go. Donate the mic on paypal.com or his buy me a coffee link. Grumpy Mike. Yeah. Thank you for sticking that one up there, Yellow. What else has happened this week, fishy wise? Not a lot. This week's video on the missing tannins. Still haven't figured that one out. The original thought was they were getting caught up in the sponge filters or the sponges, but I cleaned the sponges out and then saved the water, and the water was clear. If you've not seen the video, so it's not the sponges pulling the tannins out of the water. So it therefore either has to be the big old chunk of wood in there, or the substrate is sucking the tannins out. We'll get there. We'll get it worked out. Hello, Adele. How are you, my dear? After your marathon live stream, which unfortunately I missed, I do apologise. I don't think I can actually stay awake for 10 hours, let alone stream for 10 hours. Yeah. I'm not surprised. I say people who don't stream people who don't stream don't realise how tiring it can be. and that's only 1 or 2 hours for most people. So, was it 10 hours you did something silly? I've done 24-hour ones in the past, and yeah, they kill you. Um, it's a yeah, it's a nightmare. Yes, lots of toilet breaks, lots of caffeine being taken in, and oh, da, 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 da. Oh, Yella's got the hots for Adele. I can barely do an hour. Yeah, I know. It's when if you've got the tech savvy and you can do it so you have other people up on panel, as it were, then it does make life a lot easier. Um, I don't have the tech savvy, and I can waffle for a couple of hours quite easily. It's not too much of a problem for me. For me, it's just am I going to need a toilet break, and am I going to smoke too much? We've all got a little crush on Adele. Can you solve the mystery on my missing tannins? Well, thank you very much, Dan, and welcome, sir. Yeah, there's still no idea. So they weren't in the sponges. I was like, it's either in my mind, it's either the wood sucking the tannins back in after it's leached all its out, the substrate's sucking them in after it's leached all its nutrients out, or the tannic acid is reacting with the KH in the water neutralizing each other, which I would get with the pH not coming down, but it shouldn't pull the color out at the same time. So I guess we'll find out. So it's clearing up again this week. It was Wednesday I did the water change. It was good and dark, and now it's kind of like, yeah, it's still got a bit of color in there, but it does look very, very pale now. Too much sunlight. I mean, it's by the front door, but it's I keep the door curtain closed, and it's basically dark most of the day, so it's not getting that much sunlight at all. I'll get it figured out. I'll just keep dumping tannins in there until they stop going away. That's pretty much it. The more the merrier, because I've still got to get the. I think it's another thought. Yeah, another thing to add to the list of what could it be. Um, yeah, I'll just keep dumping them in there until it starts. Yeah. Hello, Rebecca. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is it's going to take a while to get the. Because my water is mostly KH. It's going to take a while to pull the KH out of the water to get it to a point where it's below pH 7. And then, yes, they are. Tannins are what is found in red wine. When all else fails, reset the tank, pull it apart, and rebuild it. That's what I did. Admittedly, I used the same substrate and wood that was already in there. Some natural flocculants, or there's no carbon in there. So this is why I'm thinking that the substrate might be pulling it out. This is a clay-based planted substrate, so it's my theory at the moment, at least. So hopefully that'll keep pulling it out and fill up, as it were, and then eventually they'll start building up. But I've got it down so far from pH 8.2, GHH 18, KH 21, down to pH 7.6, KH 11, GH13, so it's coming down. We'll get there eventually. I might have to start buying some RO water just to accelerate the process, because even my rainwater's got a KH of 7. So yeah, I'll say it could just be that my water's too crunchy and the alkali in the water is neutralizing the acids and that kind of thing going on. I'm hoping though that by reducing the KH, actually though, if I reduce the KH and with the amount of snails in there pulling calcium, it should come down naturally. But if the snails then start dying, their shells will start rotting or decomposing, and yeah, we'll get there. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll have to get myself on them, well, big old water containers and then just buy a bunch of RO from the LFS next time I'm in there. And then cut that with the water that's coming out of the water butt, and hopefully we'll get there eventually at some point. Hello, Kenny. How you doing, sir? I like the way you twerk it. No diggity. Yeah, so that is basically anything I've got going on at the moment. We did have to get rid of another spawn of bristle noses because yeah, I still got too many. But in other good news, we do have another couple of tanks coming. We have a couple of the 46 litre, I believe, fluval edges. So we might have to do some adjustments with those so we can get into them. Oh, yellow saying Salient's here. I can't see a comment. Oh, there we go. Howdy, Salient. How you doing? If I missed anyone, sorry. Hello. So yes, a couple of freebie fluval edges. Apparently the lights are dead, but minor problem. I'm also good. And I ain't no sir. So yeah, one of which will go beside the Cribby tank where what was the Blue Dream shrimp and the better tank where that was the one that leaked. So we've already got home for that one, and we sort of figure out where to put the other one. If I can beef up the coffee table a bit, read if I can jam another bit of wood underneath and I glue it in with some sticks like, or just jam it under there. We might stick the other one on the coffee table where the little 28 litre is right now, and we'll sort that out. Just shut down a 10 gallon, moved better to a 20 long with a divider, and you can finish with water changes in the last 3 tanks. Always good. More tanks, more water changes can be a pig. Hello, Junebug. How are you? Yeah, so anything better than a flex, 2 flexibles. Anything better than double flexisms is the free ones. Yeah, so it's the edges, which are the ones with the they sit on a little stand with the light coming up the back and got a little hang-on back filter, and the lid is glass and it's actually silicone to the sides. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to cut that off so we can actually get into the tanks. Yeah. So what my plan is now, I know you can do the smaller one rimless. Not sure about the 46 litre, the 12.5 gallon, something like that. So what I'll probably do is cut the silicone so the lid is loose, and cut that sort of up bit off so you've got a flat lid, and then get some 90-degree metal brackets, silicone, or stick those to the lid on each corner, 2 on each corner, so you've got 8 on there, and then use that to hold it on. Then that should also support the top of the sides and back and front, so it doesn't just go when you fill it up with water. It's probably strong enough, but it's one of those things where it's not designed to be like that. So the 46 litre, I don't know if you get away with it. I've seen the smaller ones, the 20 something litre. I've seen those done rimless and topless. I've not seen the bigger one done that way, so I'll have to do some more digging and see if I can find out whether it works. Unless anyone here has had a fluval edge and taken the top off of it. If anyone's ever gone topless on their edge. So then once I've done that, I'll just use a normal light on it. And a hang-on back filter. Very strange things. Mufti, how you doing? Working on stuff? Don't work too hard. Yeah, so I've seen it on the smaller ones, Rebecca. I've not seen it on the bigger ones, but I think my plan will work. Failing that, it's getting some 90-degree angle aluminium or something, I guess, and silicone in that all around the edges so it sits on there and doesn't go anywhere. Because for feeding, obviously, you'll still have that hole in the top that you can drop food or whatever in. But if you've got to catch fish out of it and you've got a tiny little hole like that you're trying to get a net in, and no. Love Hobbs, some nice ones available, not the range of other parts of the world have access to. Got Hobbs bought them over in Florida, painful. Those are glorified plant holders. Yeah, it's comes with a pair of the Aqua Clears. Yeah, they come with the Aqua Clear 20s, I think. So yeah, I'll just pull everything out and just stuff them full of sponge, because that's how filters work. Pardon me. I'm no idea what I'm going to put in and what I'm going to. What kind of tank? Do I do soft water? Do I do my normal hard water? Do I do shrimp? Do I do fish? Do I do a penguin one? Makes a loud noise. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand the penguin ones being noisy because they got the old spinny, roundy gadget thing. What they call it? It's like a paddle wheel, which is going to be noisy. Even if it's not just the water being noisy coming off the paddle wheel, then it's going to get a squeak. And an 80s advert for Marine Aquaclear. It's got a Marina I found, best for holding lucky bamboo. Bunch of hobs and canisters. Yeah, it is. When you look at it, Dan, it's a paddle wheel. Look at the old paddle steamers. I mean, it might work better if they actually use that rotational movement to do something. Like connect a small air pump of some description to it and actually use that energy that's being created. I don't know. Random thoughts. FX series canisters. Thanks. Those are my favourite canisters. Yeah, canisters are cool. Still need to clean them out. Hello, Debs. There was a certain famous YouTuber put a video up recently, not not cleaned my filter for 5 months. Will the pre-filter sponge have made it better? And my thinking is, you've not cleaned your filter for 5 months. Yeah, ring up the dynamo and get it down. Yeah, I mean, dynamo would probably have a bit too much resistance, but yeah, exactly, Jimmy. It's quick. Yeah, you just squelch your sponges out in the tank water you're taking out for your water changing. Job done. I don't get why people are so concerned about for cleaning filters. Even a canister isn't that hard. OARS pre-filters or OARS designs. Yeah, so I've only got the one canister, but I still clean it out every couple of weeks because it gets full of poop, and that's with a pre-filter on it. So, and I have to clean the pre-filter out every week because otherwise that gums up solid and stops the flow. But yeah, while I'm doing a water change, you know, cleaning the filter. It's a canister, was it add 5 minutes at most to the job? Not exactly difficult. It's like flip the thing up, turn it off, flip the thing up, pull the hoses out, drag it out the cabinet, open it up, pour the water in the bucket, squelch, 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 squelch with your sponge in the main bit with the other bit, and the sponges that are in all the baskets up the side, because they're all full of sponge and floss, as they should be. Come on, canisters are heavy enough. You don't need to add gravel to it to weigh it down. It's Yellow's been a member for 6 months. You've been a member for years. Membership milestone. I'm saving it when Bob gets his. Rub it in his face. Bless. It's yeah. As I say, it's one of those things that in the UK internal filters tend to be more popular than hang-on backs. A lot more popular. And same with canisters. Yeah, an internal is more popular than an external. Low flow means clean me. Exactly. Um, yeah, it's really not that hard. As you all know, these all have their filters cleaned out twice a week because otherwise there's no flow. We've done what, Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday, so yeah, they're definitely going to need doing in the morning. Looking at the cloudiness, which is just bacterial bloom. Don't panic. I've done my water tests. There's no ammonia in there, nor nitrite, nor nitrate, because there's a great bacteria bloom going on. It's what happens when you keep 150 bristle noses in 28 litres of water. Internals are better, way better. Hogs are fine if you want fish that don't like a current. Yeah. I say an internal, if it leaks into the tank. Anything that's external to the tank, if it leaks, water goes everywhere. You don't really need any more. That's good enough. Oh, membership gifts dropping in 5 if anyone wants to make sure they're set. Oh, thank you very much, Dan. Yeah, also I've got the, you can't see it, but there's a honking great Fluval U4 behind that Vallisneria. There's Fluval U1s in the top 3, and then a couple of random other ones, and the Marina 110s in the bottom, and the rest are mostly Fluval or Lovefish panoramas, which have already come with a filter. So this will be my first foray into hang-on backs. So I watched Pond Gimp's video on it, on how not to set one up, so I know what not to do. Only links I've had from filters is all fluvials. External filters. Yeah, Fluval U series, good filters. Yes, I know. And lots of people say that the Fluval U1, 2, 3, and 4 are really bad filters because, oh no, no, they're not good. Yeah, they are. But when I have to pull the sponges out and clean it, some of the dirt goes back into the tank. And the filter's going to pull it out again in 5 minutes. Clean the sponges out more regularly, there won't be so much gunk in them. Kind of simple concept. So the membershipies, you click the join button. I think it's the join button. It will come up with an option to allow gifts. If you click that, and when someone then gifts memberships to the channel, you will be able to receive gifts enabled. Exactly. Expensive, but spread out over how long they last. Yeah. So, I mean, how old is that? 4 years old? U4's been going like a trooper. And now it's not exactly in a low bioload tank. Most of the time there's like 150 odd bristle noses in there. But we'll discount the babies because most of their poop stays in the box, in the breeder box. But you know, there's now 20 odd Cories, 40 odd Limia, pair of Happy Caras, pair of bristle noses. What else is in there? I forget. Oh, dwarf neon rainbow and some neon tetras. Not that they really produce much mess, but yeah. Went from 40 to 50. Yeah, everything's gone up in price. Hello, Mandy Pandy. How are you? Mwah. Yeah, it's one of them. As I say, it's a filter that works and it keeps working for years. I'd rather pay a bit more than buy one that lasts for a year or two and then goes bang. Yeah, that's why I've got the Eheim air pumps. Are they the most powerful? No. Are they the quietest? No. Can you pull them apart with a screwdriver, clean the crud out from them? Yeah. When the airflow low stops, drops, clean all the gunk off of all the valves inside, pull the felt out, replace it with a bit of filter floss, screw it all back together, and it'll work again, good as new. You can do that. Yeah, that's why I use those air pumps, because they're repairable. And I keep trying to remember, but yes, the next time I clean one out, I will video it, he says. I intend to video it, let's put it that way. Yeah, internals, there's not much to go wrong. And it's not like the motors can get hot either. They're rather water cooled, aren't they? But yeah, let's say basically everything I've had fluval is still working. The only thing that died was one of the lights on the light on the first Flex I bought, which is like 5 years old. So obviously it went past its how many years warranty and went bang. But they're all fine now. Uh, yeah, everything's gone up a ludicrous amount in a short period of time. It's just the way of the world at the moment. Um, you can't even buy a tin of spam out of Sainsbury's for less than £2 now. I remember when a tin of spam was like 50p because it was like the cheap alternative. You could buy a tin of corned beef or a tin of spam and make your sandwiches for a couple of days or whatever. It was cheap. Now it's actually cheaper to buy ham or beef than it is to buy, you know, the bits that they don't use for the actual bits of meat. I see spam in the supermarket and I walk past because I'm not paying that much for a tin. I do love spam though. Spam, 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 spam. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, in sandwiches or fried. Great carp bait as well, or just fishing bait in general. Oh, I can think of plenty less appetizing than spam, Rebecca. I can, bananas, tomatoes, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, um, aubergine, avocado. Exactly. But I think this is. I just don't buy canned meats in general. Tinned whole chicken. Yeah, that's definitely an American thing. I think it's possibly a generational thing of, let's say, Debs loves her spam, I love my spam, Rebecca doesn't. We're both basically old enough to be Rebecca's mom or dad. So, yeah. And yeah, I can't eat baked beans. Oh, is that it's that nasty tomato sauce that isn't strong enough. If they were in ketchup, that'd be better. But it's just, bear in mind, no sense of smell, very little sense of taste. So to me, baked beans is like it's like when you eat a cake and you get that little bit of uncooked, floury gunk. That's what eating a bean is like to me. Though it's just nasty. Hello, Marriage, my darling. How are you? Mwah. Baked beans in pasta with cheese. No, it sounds like a normal kind of food. Only you're doubling up the carbs, so you're going to have a full belly. Baked beans are included in the full English. What kind of bloke are you if you don't like beans? Well, I don't have the beans. I don't have the tomato. But instead, I'll have extra piece of black pudding or extra piece of fried bread. Or if you're lucky, you might get an extra bit of sausage or bacon or an egg, proper fried egg. Yum, 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 yum. Soft yolk. It's good to know you're doing well, Marek, and you're on the up, and taking you time and going out watching all the hockey and shouting and swearing at referees and as things could be. You say, I'll eat the mushrooms. Well, yeah, I ain't going to touch the tomatoes. It's like anytime you go out for a meal or something and it doesn't have like gravy or a sauce with it, and they put a side salad on there, which is a few bits of green stuff and tomato. Yeah, they always find the tomato is left at the end. It's weird because I like ketchup, and if I'm having like, I quite happily eat lasagna or bolognese, where there's a lot of tomato in it, but it's all mushed up, so you don't get chunks of it. I don't do gravy. Oh, I have gravy on virtually everything. I've had white pudding, yes, I have. black and white. Oh yeah, for some fried onions, but yeah, you're not gonna. Black pudding is gross. It's only fried pig's blood. Don't worry about it. It's lovely. Bit of congealed blood fried up on your plate. Can't go wrong. Oh, remember the password. Yeah, always happens. It's not what. No, it's pig. Or originally, it's supposed to be pig's blood. It's you've got the bacon, the sausages, the black pudding. It all comes from the same creature. Um, as I say, they use everything but the oink with a pig. Um, I think they've changed. Again, I do not purchase anything with the word congealed in it either. That's usually a fairly good sign. Good thing to avoid usually, but yeah, I know my ash went in my drink. Never mind. Bit of extra nutrients. Roast foods, after doing a fish dissection on a range of different species, load of fish I will no longer be eating. Yeah. I'm guessing you probably wouldn't have surströmming either. This is the fermented herring, isn't it, in the tin? Where the tin just goes, and you basically open it in a bucket of water so that you don't smell it. Apparently, it does taste good. I mean, I enjoy the flavour. Obviously, I can't smell it. It's a bit mushy, but you know, congealed and collide are two words that make me so hungry. Trout is safe. Yeah. Yeah, trout's good, especially if you catch it yourself. Either tickle it or with a fly rod. Yes, I've tickled trout in the past. Gravy just tastes of gravy. You get a mug, you stick your gravy granules in the bottom, you crumble up an oxo cube in it, you fill it up with boiling water out of the kettle and give it a good stir. When the fork stands up in it, you then pour it all over your dinner. Oh yeah, tapioca and yeah, or that's just frog spawn. Yeah, I don't do drinks with lumps. It's like you puked in the glass and you're swallowing it. It's just not good. Cup of soup is bad enough, but at least you know, yeah, it's soup. It should have bits in it. Fish eggs. Oh yeah, cod roe. Had cod roe loads of times, which is just the eggs fried in batter. Yeah, I know proper gravy. I don't do proper gravy because I only ever cook for one, and I don't do roasting. I do grilling or microwaving or frying. That's as good as far as I go. Like tapioca. Oof, can't do boba tree. If you've not tried semolina, semolina's quite nice. I do enjoy a bowl of that every once in a blue moon because it's a case of remembering to buy semolina and then milk and stuff to make it. But like boba tea with tapioca, oh, I mean, I don't like tea and I don't like tapioca, so that's not going to work. Cornflour is so difficult to mix and the taste is awful. Lockdown, nowhere had flour. Yeah, yeah, nowhere did have flour. We were kind of lucky around here. I mean, it's bloody expensive, but there's actually a local windmill that actually mills flour, and they still had, and they were selling it. Um, Oh, we won't talk about rock salmon then. No cod liver oil tablets. Good for the creaky knees. Hello, Crystal. How are you? Yeah, I don't have them now, but back when my knees were bad, yeah, I used to take cod liver oil, and I quite actually liked the flavour of it. So I used to bite the capsules. Got that lovely oiliness in your mouth. It's like waking up in the morning after on the morning after when you had a kebab before you went to bed. Parents got you cod liver. It's, it's, uh, it's one of those omega-3 ones, isn't it? It's got a lot of omega-3 in it, so apparently it helps with brain stuffs. Way, thank you very much, Dan. And they gone. At least three people here got it. So there we go. Welcome to Being Zach Friends. There he is. And Sparky Doodle. It can be a pig when you forget what these passwords are, Dan. Oh, just don't do what I did with my old Xbox, where it kept coming up with the thing. Oh, do you want to change your password? Blah 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 blah. Do you want to change your phone number? Do you want to change your email address? And I'll go away. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Then it died, and I no longer had that phone. I no longer can access that email address. So that 160,000 gamer score, all the games I downloaded and paid for, and all the DLC I paid for, and all that other stuff, gone. Yeah. Change all the passwords to Sharpe is good. Well, go for something that is pure fantasy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was R2 systems. One of them asks for it like every 6 weeks and one every 3 months. Thankfully, after a few changes, you can go back to your original one. So I just changed like one of the digits up one. Yay, Mandy's abracaradina. Thank you very much, Mandy, for 8 months of being a Zach friend. I mean, we all know what Yella's passwords are. Sharpie is sexy. Um, God, that felt wrong saying that. I feel like I should twerk from that one, and that's not going to happen. Don't worry. Ain't no one wants to see me throw my back out doing that. And Adele's at 4 months. Easy wizzy, let's get fishy. I'm blue, da ba dee dum die. So I'm still making myself feel ill for the. Let's go with Spexy or Plexi. Definitely not Flexi. I couldn't wait for Bob. Oh, what was those 6 months, 4 months? All these long-term memberships. I'm honoured. And that did sound sarcastic, but it wasn't meant to be. Thank you very much to everyone who is a member or has sent super chats or just subscribed and turns up and watches, because I would probably have given up a long time ago if people didn't. Um, Trying to think of a song about green. The only one I got is the green, green grass at home. I'm not singing that. Oh, you haven't been turning tricks, have you, Dan? Oh dear, that's never a good thing. Did you won't? Was it a case of you'll like it? Not a lot, but you'll like it. Yeah, you're just about old enough to remember Paul Daniels and the lovely Debbie McGee. Yes, yes, the high quality emojis I made, stole, borrowed, adjusted. There is a burp one that I'm working on. I've got to figure out how to make it small enough. Ended up owing money. Well, at least you didn't do what Adam did. Went to Amsterdam, went to see a peep show. Apparently, a 60-something-year-old woman, according to him. It was him and his girlfriend went, so he weren't just being a perv. They were both being pervs. He managed to come back with a skin condition. As I said, most 21-year-old lads that go to Amsterdam come back with something far worse than a slight skin condition. Well, there is no baby plecklet emoji because I didn't find a suitable free clip art of a plecklet, and to be honest, didn't look that hard. This is me, so it's the easiest way possible. Mind a pleco emoji. Let me get the burp one figured out first, then I'll move on to do a pleco one. Magic of editing. It's genuine magicness. It's not like you can't see any plecos, let's be honest. I know enough people, sure someone can turn a pic of one of yours into a bit. You see, that's where you're getting me confused. I just want to Google image search. Free clip art pleco. That one. Save. Shrink to 100 by 100. Okay. Change color slightly. Save. Upload. That's as complicated as I'm going to get. 3 discus emojis. If I could find a picture of a discus in a sandwich or a frying pan. Rake. I can rake. I know how to use a rake on the lawn. What are you on about? Yeah, because I'm old and crap. I take after the mighty Jingles, which is not quite so grey, and I've got a little bit more hair left, which is getting ludicrously long again now, but we're not going to have a haircut. I'll take a picture of Pleco and use a cartoon app to convert it. I ain't got no apps. I don't do apps. One of the first things I do when I get a new device is go through it, deleting all the crap I'm never going to use. Bloody Netflix keeps turning up. I keep uninstalling or deleting it, and it keeps coming back again. No, I don't use Netflix. And no, it's not because they're changing their things so you can't share your passwords around. To be honest, I'm surprised it's taken them that long to do it. That's like I'm on crap. If I want to do a picture and then put it onto the computer, what I would do is I would trace the picture onto tracing paper, stick it over the screen, open up like Paint or something, and then peering very old man like at it, literally trace. to get the picture. That's literally what I would do. Um, I've got a printer scanner thingy, but yeah, I wouldn't trust it to actually do anything or work. I'd probably try and scan something. It'd tell me I need a new ink cartridge. Um, you know, tried to add someone from Canada onto my YouTube, and it wouldn't let me. Trying to think who that was a fishy person. Would that possibly be Glitch? If it's someone from Kanukistan. Oh, actually, I did hear a good joke about Canada the other day. It was an Al Murray joke. So if you're familiar with Al Murray, you'll kind of know where we're going to go. If you're not familiar with Al Murray, watch him. He's hilarious. Um, is it like on the map? Yeah, this is Canada. You see, these people over here, I think they're French. You know, you got to live somewhere crap, and you got to pretend to be French. Oh, thank you very much, Adele. Now I've just got to figure out how to get it from my phone onto my laptop. Yeah, I'm that crap. I'll get round to it at some point. Oh dear. It's a friend from British Columbia. That'd be Dan Hurd then. I think he's probably got enough pennies to afford his own YouTube premium. Expecting an email from the circle any minute. Psychic message, maybe. Ooh. Yeah, that. Yeah, email it to yourself and check the email on the other device. Yes, I've done that one. You want to hear the new problem? I can't remember the password for my Gmail account. John Sharpe. Good British name. Exactly. White wine for the ladies. Yeah. Um, what's the one? Name a country we have defeated them. That's probably one of the best ones to watch because whichever nationality you are, um, basically Al Murray, if you're not familiar, is a stand-up comedian who also happens to be a doctor of history. I think he's a doctor. He's a historian as well, so he knows the history type stuff and plays a drunken pub landlord most of the time, or used to. So his set there will be a bar on stage which actually had a tap on it so you could pull a pint during the show. I think these days he does actually do more sort of historical documentaries than the stand up anymore. And yes, and Daniel Brady makes me think of a bunch. Hmm. Also a good British name. Yeah, no, we're not going to. We're gonna leave the colonialism out of that joke. Oh yes, I'm upsetting some of the ladies at work because they've all got their fake stick-on nails. They're all very proud of their fingernails, and then there's me growing mine longer than their fake ones are, and they're not breaking. One of them, had to cut the rest because otherwise I couldn't pick anything up. But yeah, so we got ludicrous pinky nail. No, it's not a Coke spoon. Never seen the Brady Bunch. But yeah, so they're going, oh, my nails. Not, I mean, the rest of them are short now, but yeah. Well, I'm tempted, but at the moment it's annoying the ladies. So yeah, they can pay for theirs. I'll just grow mine naturally. Good for having a good scratch with though. So you can have a, so you can scratch your ear without actually putting your finger in your ear. I'd have to be very careful picking my nose though, because I could itch the back of my eyeball if I wanted to, probably. Hmm. It's just the way my nails are. They grow and they don't break. They just keep growing and growing and growing. I know it's time to cut my toenails when they start clicking on the kitchen floor. Or when they slice my other toes apart. Urban intellect from the bottom up. High school diploma, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate, and trust me, bro. How many two brains? Yeah, I've not got two brains. I've barely got a functioning one. Yeah, I'm somewhere on. Actually, I don't know where would I be qualification wise on there because I've not got any degrees technically. All the other stuff I've got, I'm probably somewhere between an associate's and a bachelor's. Howdy, Jamie. Oh, you missed all sorts. We were talking about congealed food and clotted food, and actually, clotted food, clotted cream. There is a clotted food that you can eat and enjoy. Um, just the usual randomness, Jamie. Yeah, don't get to wear a fancy hat. That's no good. Just wear your own fancy hat. Yeah, black pudding. Just I don't know, find a cool hat to wear and do it. Just so you don't get to wear the chalkboard or the mortar, is it they call it? Big shrimping. How you doing, Steve? In the community college range. I'll say it's one of those things where unless you're doing specific jobs which do require a university education, um, once you get past about 30, all of those qualifications you did in college or high school mean absolutely nothing. it's, oh, you got this GCSE and that GCSE and this and that and that and that. So yeah, it doesn't matter. You either know how to do the job or you don't. Had to wear the waterboard thing like the undergrads. Had one for undergrad and it kept falling off. Bobby pins. Stick a hairpin, you stick it through the hat and it'll hold it in place. Don't include GCSEs or A levels on my CV, so people don't know I didn't get great GCSE grades and failed English. Yeah, I mean, I got a better grade for French than I did for English, so that shows you something. Um, I think that was mostly because I couldn't read my handwriting in English, so yeah, I doctor my CV for the job I'm applying for. So I will put things in or take things out depending on the job. Because I learned many, many moons ago, because you'd think, you put all your qualifications down, all the things you've done, and it's like, yeah, that's good. When you keep getting told, sorry, you're a great fit for the job and great fit for the, but we think you're overqualified. And you're like, oh, I mean, really, you just want to work. You don't want people smart working for you. You don't want people who can think for themselves. You're busy with the family. Hub's had a schedule change in homeschooling. So all you can do, say, family first, Mandy. That's the important thing. Fish fam's always here. As long as you pop in occasionally, let us know you're okay. Me cheated at English school. I learned good. GCSEs. What? Yeah, that's actually, yeah. Might know them as O levels, Andrew. Yeah. Um, I was actually the second year that took GCSEs, um, and it was different parts of the country switched at different times as well. So it was like, war. Huh, what is it good for? Increasing the sales of the military industrial complex. Um, yeah, and so once you got something above a GCSE, the GCSE is kind of pointless. English is extremely important, but honestly, maths is importanter because we don't do mathematic, we do mathematics, which is a plural. So it would be maths. I know you're English, but yeah, it was O levels back when you were at school. Or are you that old that it was whatever was before O levels? Was it? Uh, yeah, it was O levels and CSEs, wasn't it? They got rid of those and went to GCSEs. Brought in BTECs and NVQs. Can't remember what BTEC stands for. I know NVQ stands for not very qualified. A plus on meth test. You know I'm just a troll. Seriously, I was trying to remember what it was before O levels. Was it just a 14 plus? I think it was. It was literally like one exam and that was it. You either passed it or you didn't. Before O levels, how to use the abacus. Is it? Yes. This is where you're gonna go. What? But yeah, we got taught to use abaci at school. Yes, primary school we learnt to use abacuses or abaci, whichever one it is. Um, Not abacab, which is a Genesis song. You know when you can't think of a name for the song you've written, so you just name it the chord structure. Slide rules, yes, we learnt slide rules as well, and mental arithmetic, abacus and Roman numerals. Yeah, we learnt Roman numerals too. Still the slate boards, slate and a piece of chalk, getting wrapped over the knuckles of the cane when you tried writing left-handed. Generally got an abacus and use the human front. Yeah, it's another way to learn about numbers. It's a visual way as well, so it works really well for younger kids. Have a visual representation of what you do. Had mental maths for mine, no idea how badly I did that. Oh dear. I am Funk's here. Learned to use a calculator watching school on a test. Actually, that was one of the things we were banned from wearing for. It weren't GCSEs because you needed them for the maths test, but for the earlier stuff, we were banned from calculator watches. 11 plus CSEs, ONA levels. They started letting us use calculators in the last year. Never learned about the Romans, which is good because they're not that interesting. The Roman Empire is quite interesting to learn about. It does teach you a lot about why things in the world are so screwed up today. And yes, happy birthday to Funk. Happy birthday to Funk. Happy birthday, dear Jason. What did the Romans ever do for us? Not a lot here. Um, we had an uppity Suffolk girl who stopped them from getting this far. There's a couple of forts on the coast, but yes, a little Suffolk tractor girl riding her medieval tractor managed to pee off the Romans enough they stayed mostly away from East Anglia. Howdy heckle! They built a wall to keep the Scots out, yes. And I think they probably were going to build a wall around East Anglia to keep us lot. I say us lot, not being a native, but I also learned how to write the answers to the test on the bottom side of the bill of mine. Yeah, we weren't allowed to wear hats at school either, so we couldn't do that one. Um, one of the ones I did, not at school, at college, because we were doing engineering maths at college, and some of that was quite tricky. And remembering some of the equations was a pig. So what I did was I took the calculator out of its case and literally wrote on the calculator case, which is black vinyl, in black marker pen, or Sharpe as you'd call it. I literally wrote some of the more complicated equations on the case. So open it up, they're not visible straight away. You have to catch the angle of the light right. Yeah, and there they are. There's differential calculus for you. Yes, I did that at college. Yeah, indoor plumbing, parliament, aqueducts. Oh, bless Mandy. This week's edition of I Failed as a Mum. Daughter asked me how old do I have to be until I get my own signature, because I thought they were assigned. Oh, bless. The old cheater. Uh, weren't necessarily cheating. I mean, you got to remember, Funk, it was college. I was high. Um, I actually did my tier 3 engineering maths exam on acid. I was tripping balls. It was supposed to be what was it, a 2.5, 3 hour exam, and I did it in an hour. Come back to class, and lecturer looks at me. He's like, "Well, you failed that, haven't you?" Like, what do you mean? He's like, "It's supposed to take you 3 hours. You're not supposed to be back here." Like, I did it in an hour. He's like, "Yeah, you're going to have to resit that, aren't you?" Oh, came back, commendation. I was like, "Oh well, I missed the distinction." Uh, I still get acid echoes. Yeah, my entire life is an acid echo, I think. Um, just making sure Adele got the gag. Yes. Um, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't recommend sitting your exams while the walls are melting and the desk you're working on is liquid and everyone's got rat heads. But it worked for me. I certainly did better in that one than the ones I turned up drunk for. So, but then my entire second year of college notes, them little notepads you get, sort of A5, is it? You know, the little ring notepads. My entire second year college notes, bearing in mind I was studying electronics, telecommunications servicing, and engineering mathematics. Yeah, my entire second year notes didn't fill one of them. And I passed everything, so, you know, one circle C for every answer I got out of left because I knew I was going to fail it. Did you at least get 25% though, Funk? Because if you circled C for every answer and didn't get 25%, I wasted a perfectly good day. True. I mean, yeah, so it's one of those things is academia isn't for everyone. You know, not everyone is going to go into a job where you are just using your brain all the time. A lot of us work somewhere where we use our body instead. So, you know, if you're doing a physical job and you don't need too much book smarts, why? Why do you think I said it didn't fill the notebook? Because yes, you academia, those nuts they're using cookies, that's macadamia. But I get the joke. Yes. Yeah, it's not a disease. It's called being male. Yellow. Give a man a piece of paper and a pen and ask him to draw something, and the first thing he has to fight is is the urge to draw a cock and balls. Pen, piece of paper. Don't do a cock and balls. Don't do a cock and balls. Don't do a cock and balls. I'm literally all the French textbooks at school. Every time there was a baguette in it, someone had drawn a little line in the end of the baguette, so it looked like a dick. Yeah. Even when they replaced all the textbooks, it only took a couple of weeks before every single baguette had a dick drawn on it. Ah, those were the days. Probably get kicked out of school for doing that now. Guarantee every desk had one drawn on it or carved into it as well. Baguette to define the French. Yes, that. Yes, all the characters were wearing berets and had stripy shirts as well. So, you know, the 90s. But it's England. We're allowed to. You know, it's a national pastime. This in the French. It's, and when their biggest known sports brand was Le Coq Sportif, yes, the sporty cock. God damn! No wonder why no one ever. What did the French ever do for us? Absolutely. Oh, um, yeah. I know. Uh, I don't think there have been any other wars in history between two countries that lasted as long as some of the ones that we had between us and the French. The Frenchman had chicks with hairy armpits and a terrible BO smell. You're going to the wrong bars. Fun could get mad when the guy you cheated from didn't study. Taking the shower and trying to refill the tank, and of course those showers take too long, so it's still got two big. Oh yeah, she's taking all the hot water. Well, you know the answer to that. Click. Switch the shower off. Howdy, fish room. You say morning, I'll say evening. Well, you say morningen, but I'll take it that means morning. Yeah, she knows better. I don't care if you're bloody cold. The fish need it warm. Ah, no worries. We all do typos. Oh hell, people have seen my typing. I'm forever making typos. It's just have to be very careful with some of them, especially if you're describing something as chonky. Very easy to hit that I instead of the O, and then you suddenly become racist. Life starts at 3:30. It's going to be doing water changes on the live. Oh dear. 3:30. Try to work that one out. I'm going to give up. So I did do a video of me doing a water change on that, but that was a few years back now. No point in doing another one because I still do them the same. Water out, clean the filters, water back in, job done. That's the only one I actually use a gravel vac in, and I don't use it to vac the gravel, I just use it as a siphon. Serious question. How much of a temp difference is okay with you on doing water changes? I generally stick my English house a hot and cold tap, and I get the water straight out of the tap in the bucket because, bucket brigade for the win. And I go, well, I'm mixing it up, and I go, yeah, that's about right. I don't do massive water changes, so yeah. It tends to be 25%. So even if it's like 5 or 6 degrees off, it ain't gonna make no difference. And some I'll actually go for a cold water change, just see if I can trick anyone into doing some spawny action. Yeah, so we get day and night time temperatures, rain, runoff, all that stuff. And then people go, no, you have to keep your tank at exactly this. The temperature of the water that you put in has to be exactly the same. And they're like, got big old barrels and they've got heaters in them that are temp matched to the tanks. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, 5, 8, 10 degree, whatever. It's it tends to depend on where you are in the actual part of the river. When you breed angels, kind of big difference. Kind of still do it on the tank. Yeah, it's one of those things where I won't say a lot of people, but some people obsess over these tiny details, but forget that things change in the real world. Things like the pH and the GH and the KH might change over, they'll change more slowly in the wild. So yeah, you kind of have to look out for that with water changes in fish tanks, but temp-wise, as long as it's roughly. I do actually have a video filmed about acclimating fish, new fish, that will be coming out at some point this week, possibly. Yeah, I know it might sound a dumb thing, but I had a few thoughts on the early fish deaths. An Excel document includes how variable conductivity varies. Never see scientists measure KH or GH of wild fishes, mainly pH, mostly conductivity. Yeah, it's measuring the conductivity is not really like a liquid test you can do for that or a strip. You'd have to have a gadget, which I can understand because people seem to like their gadgetry. See all the people with the digital thermometers, and there's me with the good old-fashioned glass ones. Or the stick-on ones, which is accurate enough for me. I don't need to know that it's 78.1 degrees. Oh, that's too warm. It needs to be 77.8. TDS is technically a TDS pen is measuring the conductivity of the water, and then converting it into a random number. It's not random, it's total dissolved solids or parts per million. So yeah, technically it is measuring the conductivity of the water, but it's try to remember what the conductivity is measured in. But if it gave another parameter for people to look at, it's another thing that most people would just get confused by. We all know the people who go, "But my TDS is this." You know, yeah. What is your TDS? It's this. What's it made up of? Do you know what it's made up of? No. Therefore, it's a meaningless number. How much you pay attention? I tend not to pay too much attention, but I have very hard water. So if I'm trying to breed soft water fish, then I like with the black water tank, which is what I'm trying to do. Total daily Sharpe. Yeah, you don't want many parts per million of that. That's a number you want to keep nice and low. It's right up there with ammonia. Yeah, this is it. That is literally what it's measuring is the conductive dissolved solids. Because if water is non-conductive, which pure water is, let's say RODI water comes up as 0 TDS because it's completely non-conductive. You need to have stuff dissolved in the water that does conduct. So, salt water is conductive, as we all know, and has a very high TDS. Obsession with KH seems very new. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that have problems with cycling or keeping a tank cycled, and they've got very soft water, so the bacteria and obviously the other life in the tank uses up the KH. So if the KH drops to 0, you've probably got a very low GH as well, and that's when a tank can crash. Once you've got a couple of parts KH, a couple of degrees or parts per million or whatever you want to call it, whatever the number they've decided that the thing is on the tests, you're okay. Obviously, live bearers like it hard. South American cichlids like it soft. You know, the easiest solution is just to keep fish that like your tap water. For me, that would be live bearers and Rift Lake cichlids, but I'm not a fan of most Rift Lake cichlids, so plus live bearers and Rift Lake cichlids is not a good combination in a tank. It needs to be shared. Live bearers like it hard, yep. I'll make the chat all fish geeky. Never do that like that in mine. Now we don't mind a bit of fish geekery, a bit of scientitious stuff. We get all sorts of weird things happening here, Funk. Don't worry about it. We can go from bodily functions to existential angst in minutes. Yes. Okay, Rebecca, let's go with Gudaids, Bacilliads, Xiphophores. That should cover most of the Most of the live errors I'm talking about, there's always the exception that does prove the rule. Chaps almost always end up talking about poop. Yeah, mine do as well, Funk. Don't worry about it. It just happens when I'm there. Rebecca always gets technical on us, and that's why we love her, because she puts us right on things when we get them wrong. As I've said, Rebecca is our plexpert. Um, I ain't an expert in nothing. Other than making more bristle noses, I'm pretty good at that. And smoking, I'm good at that too. And bodily functions, but that's about all I'm good at. I accept it and move on with my life. Um, yeah, I would have thought most stingrays, unless they get really big, would probably be discus friendly. Discus tend not to spend a lot of time laying flat on the bottom of a tank or in a position that a stingray could possibly harm them. Change together the cigarettes, drinking an excessive amount of energy drink, and fuck, yeah. That is my superpower. Chain smoking and energy drinks. I aspire to be 100 as smart as Rebecca if I grow up. Don't ever grow up, Mandy. It's overrated. I tried it, didn't like it, went back to being juvenile again. I, I just didn't like not being able to laugh at fart jokes. That was the problem. No other hobby job other than the plecos. Well, each to their own. I'm not going to knock you for that. There are people who literally don't have other hobbies or anything. They do their work, they come home, and they watch soaps. I think I'd rather slit my wrists. And I say, but each to their own. No way I could do what those people are doing. They probably couldn't do what I do. 100% better than coffee. But energy efficient. You don't need to put the kettle on first. And as I have a smart meter, kettles take a lot of electric. And considering most of them are well over a kilowatt, my hobby is watching other people have a hobby. That's hot instant coffee. Yeah, got to be instant. That's the best coffee there is. These weird Americans with their roasts and posh machines. You stick a spoonful of coffee in the bottom of the cup, a couple of spoonfuls of sugar, boil the kettle, three quarters of a cup, 3/4 of a mug full of water, top it up with milk, job done. Why complicate it any more than that? Can't even understand what I just typed. That's all right. We get you, Funk. We understand you. 6-shot espresso carry-on macchiato that the barista at Starbucks made. Don't call them baristas. They're not baristas. They're what we used to call tea boy or tea girl. Usually the tea boy. Um, so I think we should go back to calling them coffee boy or coffee girl rather than I'm a barista. Congratulations, you know which button to press on the machine. As I think we were talking about this on Andrew's stream yesterday. Rebecca is freshwater ichthyology. Not that kind of tea. TEA, Funk. Get your mind out the gutter. But that's essentially what they are. They just make coffee and tea for a living. It's not a career or calling or whatever they think of it as. It is tea baggers. Yeah, that do. I mean, I understand it's a crappy job. It's minimum wage. You have to deal with the public. But my bad. Freshwater ichthyologist, Dr. Anthony. Now Rebecca is slightly prettier than Dr. Anthony, and blonde, and got all her hair. Also considerably younger. But I say it's yeah, coffee. It's a drink. It's just a way of getting caffeine, water, and sugar into your system. It was like, yeah, in the US perhaps, but over here it is a minimum wage job. What is minimum wage at the moment? Is it 9.72 still? Will it go up? I think it's going up to 10.42 in April, something like that. But yeah, it's minimum wage job. Most jobs are. If it is more than minimum, it's only a couple of pence. Um, and yeah, we don't have the whole tipping culture in the UK. The only tipping we do is cow tipping. Um, we get very confused when people expect us. If we were to go to America and we got the bill and there was a 20% tip, we've got pay your staff enough to live on. Instant coffee makes a great suppository. Well, I mean, it comes out that hole as well. It has the same effect if you put it in the top as it does in the bottom. It's just too hot. It's like McDonald's coffee before the lawsuit. Yeah. People make fun of that one, but she was seriously injured by that. Howdy, Clark. Forgot all about it. Don't worry about it. Some weeks I nearly forget about it as well, and it's my bloody stream. Yes, it's been like 5 to 6, and I've been thinking, there's something I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, crap. Blink. Make stream now. Yeah. Yes, so Dan gave out some gift memberships, Clark, so that's why you are now a member. And Tubber Dan's here. Don't want to have to go to work tomorrow on my day off. Albino cherry doves decided to break out in white spot. Oh dear. So albino cherry barb, does that just mean barb? Because they're not cherry barbs. But yeah, hopefully you get that fixed. Here's a question for you then, Daniel. What are you going to use to treat white spot? We'll keep calling it ick, whatever you want. Interesting one, because the various treatments obviously that get used in the States we can't get in the UK. So what's the go-to? Probably better than cherry coke. Now, cherry coke is okay. Don't mind cherry coke. I mean, it's fruit flavored, so that's kind of bad, but it's better than caffeine-free diet coke. The most pointless thing creation ever. Formaldehyde, formalin, copper, and malachite green. Heat and turn. You'll get one of the industrial ones, will you? Just thieve some industrial medicine from work rather than the off the counter. Have shrimp and snails, it doesn't help. Yeah, you got to be a bit careful. So nothing with copper in it then. Howdy, Callaway. Oh dear. Still got apple pie left from last night. Was it the pot? If it was me, the pie would have gone, but there'd have been a pile of apple left on the plate. And apple pie is English, not American. It went over with the first settlers. think heat method is normally my way to go. Try not to use chemicals if possible. A crystal malachite green. I would assume it's the same thing. Oh yeah, yeah, it might be Germanic in origin. Might have come over from Bavaria. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pastry and apple, so you know. I look at my barb, don't think they'll be around very long. Oh dear, got it bad, have they? Oh, fingers crossed for you. Not had to or seen it in years. Yes, I think a lot of the. I'm not saying Daniel don't know what he's talking about because I know he knows what he's talking about. Um, but yeah, a lot of people do mistake epistylis for ick, and then they treat for ick, and then it doesn't work. Isha always has weird ingredients, copper and something strange. Yeah, well, I mean, I've only used the Isha NDX, and it worked for getting rid of Camellanus worms. So yeah, and I've not heard bad things about Isha treatments yet from anyone. So again, I try and avoid using chemicals in the tanks if I can. Bit of dechlorinator is generally the only thing I use. Um, Hell, don't even use fertilizers. Um, it's in tapeworm cysts, often in South Asian imports. They look like white spot, but worming properly does the job. Yeah, we were asking about ick. Yeah, I'll say it's not something I've had to deal with. Touch wood. Actually, it's such an actual wood. Door frame is actually made out of wood. So I just didn't want to have to drive to work with the A11 being so bad. I'm trying to think, is there anywhere closer to you? I mean, if you're going to go to work and nick the shop grade stuff for nothing, then that's probably your best bet. But so you're down here now, aren't you? So Swallow would be closer if you're just going to get some off the shelf stuff. Um, yeah, and here we are talking about driving distances and go to work and use the staff discount. Yeah, good idea. When I'm a black molly jump, I'll pick up some scales, end up my finger, and the back half of them is white. Yeah, it's only the bit that's visible that has the colour. Get some money off exactly. Just use what's in the pond section. That's something I was looking at the other week, month, whenever it was. That it seems a lot of the pond medications actually have like the stronger stuff in them that the American medications have, rather than a lot of the tank medications all seem to be the more basic tea tree oil, nut juice, sorry, beetle nut juice, um, or extract, whatever they want to call it, nut milk. Um, yeah, I'll say it's yeah, you could do if they're missing a couple of scales. It could look a bit. Yeah, I'll say yeah, exactly the size of the systems. Yeah, and tea tree oil will do nothing. I don't know. It gives me wonderfully soft skin. Needs to be said. It smells like gasoline. Malefics. No, no scientific and significant. And the thing is, the first illness, disease, yeah, ran away down. You know, you're okay here. Um, but yeah, hope your fish recover and all goes well. Because albino cherry barbs are rather cool. Um, yeah, so first one I got was columnaris in that tank. Was the first disease I had to deal with. and I did actually fix that with Melafix and Penafix. So, and water changes. So I'm not sure whether it was just the water changes. The fact that I spotted the fish that had it and got them out quick, so it didn't spread too badly. Yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, I was saying it was. Americans seem to have fancy planaria. I was told gigantic planaria. You can eat guppies. Well, I mean, dead guppies, yeah, but not live ones. Live guppies will eat the planaria. Um, now, it's probably a different species of worm. Bun Bun, how are you, my dear? Hope all is well with you. Hug. Yeah, there you go. Um, yeah, I'll also touch more wood. I've not had planaria since I've fixed it. Not that I've noticed, anyway. Um, but yeah, I had a massive planaria outbreak in one of my shrimp tanks. To the point where the API test tube the API test tube converted to be a planaria trap was filling with planaria in about 20 minutes. Only seen it in stops and usually stores, and usually detritus caused it. You're welcome, Bun. Yeah. Who gravel vacs a shrimp tank? Come on. But yeah, that's probably what it was. Well, no, it was in one tank, and then I think I transferred it to another tank. That was the problem. Yeah. Beetle nut juice, the main ingredient in no planaria. Howdy, Roy. How you doing? How them wobble monsters? Um, but yeah, so I think I'm planaria free now. I've not seen any, so it's always a good sign. I think I've got a few detritus worms in a couple of tanks, but I ain't worried about them. I tend to get eaten fairly rapidly. Tricks are tricky. Certainly, if there were any detritus worms in there, the cories will have cleaned them all out by now. A couple of dozen cories, they soon get anything that's in the substrate. Um, I've not seen any eggs lately, so that might be I'm not getting to them early enough to find the eggs, or they're not breeding. Might be the time of the year. I am spotting more escaped pleklets in there, though. There's one up the back, one up the front. And someone's managed to uproot. That'll be a bristle nose. Managed to uproot one of the Vallisnerias, and then the Limias are doing Limia things. The boys are chasing the girls around, and the girls are having babies. But yeah, I've been relatively lucky with fish illnesses and diseases. Let's say columnaris and camelanus is the two I've had. Had detritus in the 280, overfeeding bacillus never ends well. No. I mean, overfeeding in general doesn't usually end well. I mean, the only tanks really that I would overfeed would be them ones. Bare bottom is just full of placos, so it's kind of hard to actually overfeed. Mostly because it just gets bloody expensive. And I refuse to spend more on feeding my fish than I spend on feeding myself. Let's put it that way. Anybody 280 in a tank never expected it. Yeah, high protein. Yeah, the protein and all the stuffs. Anything that gets uneaten just disintegrates into the substrate, and then poof, somehow they evolve. It must be dormant or eggs coming on something, and then when a certain thing gets to a certain level, the eggs hatch or something like that. It must be, because I seriously doubt the same things can evolve in a fish tank. No, two completely separate fish tanks with nothing in common, and the same things are evolving. Must be eggs coming in on something. It's all these planted tanks. That's the problem. Next level, I have to hoover them all up and pull it away. Oh dear, yeah. Or just chuck a bunch of mollies in there. They'll clean them all out for you. Mollies or guppies or platies or cories. But here we go. As we're getting towards the end of the stream, here we go. Question: 12.5 gallon tank. What do you stock it with? And go. Because I've got a couple of in litres, 46 litre Rebecca. No, I don't need any more plecos. I don't need any more. I really don't. Yes. Yeah, so I knew Dan would say go with the peep offers, guppies. I'm not doing guppies. I've done guppies. They're great for feeding a bichia. Big ear. Pistos are great. Yep. I do have one flavour of a pisto, so I might try another flavour if I can find some. And then it's just a case of what to go with. I always forget. To hoover something is a British idiom for vacuum, because Hoover is a vacuum cleaner company. Thankfully, we don't call. Yeah, I'm just going to Dyson the carpet, because that'd sound weird. Shrimp. Yeah, maybe a second shrimp colony. We'll go with pea puffers. It's not like I've got a snail shortage, is it? There's 7 tanks there with bloody thousands of ram's horns in them, so some peep offers. Yeah, pygmies. Probably wouldn't do well with peep offers. I've still got one left in the shrimp tank. For some reason, like 4 of them died off real quick, and the one just keeps hanging on. So I might, yeah, if pygmy cories come down to a sensible price, I'll probably just stick some more in there. Yeah, the murder beans does seem to be the general consensus. I've not done puffers before. Cedar McGill. Yeah, I tried those. They don't like my water. I don't want to have 2 tanks I'm farting about with. Trying to get the hardness down. Yeah, I'll say, yeah, peas are fun. I've not done puffers before. So that'd just be densely planted and bung in a handful of snails once every couple of days. Job done, basically, wouldn't it? Or just bung in a handful of full-grown ram's horn snails to cycle the tank, then add the pea puffers and let the pea puffers eat the babies. Oh yeah, literally all these tanks are. Not only do they each have 150 bristle noses in, but they've each probably got double that number of ram's horns. Let me grab the camera. Yeah, I mean, just as a quick example, obviously bad watermarks on the glass. So that's the one that started off with them, and they just kind of migrated to every single tank. Oh, quibble it. Yeah. And yeah, that one as well. That's full of them. Yeah. Got snails. Yeah, and I've also got millions and millions of trumpet snails. Yes, drop those linky poos. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. When people have puffers of any kind really, having a snail colony is the first thing to do. And you know, if you can get a snail colony in the pea puffer tank, that's even better. They'd probably just gorge themselves and eat all of them. But I'm guessing a full-grown ram swan, would that be too big for a pea puffer to even bother to go after? Starting up old YouTube. Finally bucked up the courage to make what video to do first. Fish room tour. That's the easiest one to do. So, hi, I'm Rye. Here's my tanks. This is what I keep. These are my wobble monsters. And yeah, if you, I'm going to trademark that. So, you know, if you mention wobble monsters, a bit of credit. Well, it's easier to say than. Should we actually go and try and get the correct German pronunciation here? Wabenmonster. It's a kind of ancestress, a Wabenmonster or Wabenmunster, or however you want to pronounce it. Yeah. So wobble monsters, like the old tanks, the Waffenträger, when waffle tractor. That's what they get called. And thank you very much, Dan, for the linky. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out. Exactly, a wobble monster. You know me, I find silly names for everything. Yeah, that's my number one suspect is, as I say, is a 2.5-year-old planted substrate, so it's had all the nutrients pulled out of it. So my thinking is that's probably sucking up the tannins. If not, it's the KH is reacting with the humic acid or the tannic acid and neutralizing, and that's getting rid of the color. Probably a mixture of the things. There's only the one Anubius in there and the one small crick now, so neither of them are pretty exactly fast growing. So I mean, it could be the plants pulling some out. It could be a mixture of everything pulling stuff out. Oh, see you later, Dan. Hi to Mrs. DKF and the human fry. Fist bumps to any fry that. No, it's literally just sponges in the filters, Andy. No polyfill or carbon or anything like that. If there is carbon in there, it's in the substrate and it's been in the tank for years. So it's not that pulling anything out. Well, I'll say the tank has been running for years with that substrate, but the tap water is that I filled it with was pH 8.2, GH 18, KH 20. The butt water that I'm filling it with or doing my water changes with is pH 7.6, GH 7 or GH 9, KH 7. So it's pulled the tank down to 7.6, 11 and 13. So I'm gradually getting it down. Obviously, you don't want to do that too quick. And you know, the water out of the water butt has got plenty of tannins in it already because you know I don't clean the shed roof or the gutter. So The shed roof is covered in moss, which has got a thick layer of peat underneath it now, and the gutter is full of leaves, and the bottom of the water butt is full of leaves. So yeah, I'll say it's, yeah, butt water. That's what I call it. So it'll sort itself out. It just takes a bit of time, is all. It's just kind of confusing that you know I see everyone else and they put a piece of wood in their tank and they get these tannins and they go, oh, how do I get rid of my tannins? Oh, I can't get rid of them. Oh, it's impossible. There's me going, where the F are my tannins going? I must be the only person that can't keep tannins in a tank. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's this big Sharpie thing, though, isn't it? I'm not gonna have a normal problem. If it was something normal and well known, I'd tap a Google and oh, there's the answer. Oh, well, that's what we've got to do. Fair enough. Understand. No, this seems to be one that not many people have had issue with. Rebecca says that the sunlight can react with tannins, but it's not really a lot of sunlight getting on the tank. And also, as I say, the KH might be doing it, but as I'm getting the KH down, we'll see bison mapani from the range, tannins and nuts. Might have to do that. You did say sunlight. It's one of those things. It's a thought, although yeah, and that tank does get quite a bit of algae in it. It was Adele said sunlight. I knew someone said it. Yeah, I'll just keep adding tannins until it stays brown. I mean, it's a 10-gallon tank, and it's yeah. It's either that, or I'm just going to have to go find a swamp and dig a chunk of wood out of the swamp and just stick that in there. That'll do the trick. Go on holiday to Devon, go up on Dartmoor, find one of the peat bogs, and dig a chunk of sphagnum moss out of it. I literally just stuff the filter with sphagnum. That gets some tannins going. But yeah, I'll say if next time in the range, I'll have a look, and if they've got a bunch of wood there, I'll grab it. But yeah, I've had wood from some places that has had no tannins come out of it at all, or no colour come out of it. Like both the tree stumps in there, which you can't actually see. There's one there, and there's one laying down there. No colour came out of either of them. That piddly little bit there turned a fluval flex brown overnight. I think it's the Mapani, the rain cell. Tank looked like a brewing. That's what I want. I want a good dark water tank. So I want to get the water soft so I can get the clown plecos in there breeding and Nanacara anomala. Yeah, Pete, that may be what I end up. Yeah, we'll keep going how we are because it doesn't seem quite as bad this week at clearing up. Yeah, there's a trio of clown plecos in there. That's why I want to get it down to roughly pH 6.5, because that seems to be where both those and the Nanacara breed at. Ninjas. Oh, yes. There were 3 of them in a 9-gallon flex, along with thousands of shrimp. And yeah, you don't see them. Then when I thought, well, there should be 3 in there. So I went to find them. Yeah, there were all 3 of them were. 2 of them dropped off the chunk of wood when I lifted that up, and the other one was in the cave. So they were easy to catch. But yeah, they're certainly fat and happy little plecklets. Dr. Anthony's thinking, I know my friend has bred them. Yeah, Pinoculus Changai, not P change. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just giving it a go, see if it works. Because apparently they only have 15 to 20 at a time, so I think I can deal with that many bristle or that many plecos. But yeah, we'll just see. They either breed or they don't. In either case, I'll learn something about black water tanks and softening my tap water. And that's generally why I'm doing the experiment. See if I can do a soft water black water tank without having to go RO. I might have to buy RO. And I think it's going to take a time for the leaves to break down and enough to overcome the KH that's even in my rainwater and get that down to low enough levels that lets the pH drop. Wood caves seem to work well for Pinoculus. We'll see what we can do, see if I can drill a big hole in a tree stump of some description. We'll see what that happens. Okie doke. I'll say next time we're out and about near a range, we'll pop in and see if I can get myself some wood. It's certainly cheaper than some other places I see it. But anyway, my time is up. Corey has gone live. Get a load of wood and drill a hole in it. In days of old, when knights were bold and condoms weren't invented, they drilled a hole in a telegraph pole and children were prevented. Anyway, yeah, so Corey's on. If you want to go to Corey, I don't know if there's someone else, Fish Family, on. We'll go with hashtag congealed. But yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks, Dan, for the IFTY members. Thanks to the members, everyone just being here, hitting buttons and stuff, having a chat, spending your Sunday evening with us. Have a great week. Stay safe. Have fun. Enjoy your hobbies. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop dip doo 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 doo. Sunday shop dip doo 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 doo. Sunday shop dip doo 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 doo. Ah.